We'll also talk about some of the other news events of the day, and I'll quickly mention those before we return to the discussion about youth crime, including superannuation, where the Prime Minister is now finally starting to get a message from the Australian people that we knew from day one. Cost of living always matters. It doesn't matter when you want to change the subject to The Voice or anything else. Albonomics doesn't work. In fact, even The Independent today said that the honeymoon is over for Albo and Labor. It continues to say here that 71% of the federal government, of people believe that the federal government is now responsible for the interest rate rises. Hallelujah, I told you. They're not going to change the government anytime soon. Sadly, this one will be around for a while. But start to tell a pollster that you've had enough of the BS and spin. That's now starting to happen. Also, in terms of people about whether the country's on the right track or the wrong track, the highest number of people believing the country's on the wrong track since the election, the lowest number who believe that it is on the right track. And I tell you what, it's going to get worse because, as you remember, this is what the Prime Minister and old Grim Jim, the Treasurer, had to say before the election about your retirement savings.
We've said we have no intention of making any super changes. One of the things that we're doing in this campaign is we're making all of our policies clear. We're putting them out there for all to see.
Australians shouldn't expect major changes to superannuation if the government changes hands.
That's what they said before the election, but surprise, surprise, they are breaking the promise after the election. The biggest changes to superannuation in 30 years, increased taxes. You can add that to the list now of power bills, meant to go down by $275, but now way up. Cost of living, a reason to change the government, but now everything through the roof. Plenty of jobs for the old Labor boys like Kevin Rudd, Greg Combet. Less stuff being made in Australia, like we told you about with the paper mill in Victoria, and now even more jobs to go in the forestry industry. And now you can add the taxes on your superannuation. Terry McCrann writes beautifully about this today and about why it matters so. You know better about how your money should be invested. And if, as well, a consequence you get hosed, well, by then, you won't be around to cop the blame. He's talking here about the politicians and about why they're making the changes. You can warm yourself on those future cold winter nights in old age with the comfort that you helped build a better world or something. The reality is that this is an amber warning light which is turning red, especially when we start talking about equity, which means everyone ends at the same place rather than starts at the same place, which is equality.